Hello, handsome, beautiful, whatever gender you are and wherever you're from, welcome to another Profi Kyle Simple English video. And in this simple English video, I'm talking about, well, I'm not talking about, I'm telling the story. I'm painting a tale. This is the video about the second time I got robbed. Well, the second time I got robbed in Colombia, and out of all the times I've been robbed, it's always been in Colombia. So let's hope and pray that Colombians can figure out how to make their country a little bit safer. At the same time, I would say all the times I've been robbed, I would say 3 out of 4 times it's been kind of my fault. But still not an excuse to make the situation better for all Colombians. And you might be wondering, why simple English? Well, because if you watch things which are too simple, it's going to be very boring and you're not really going to learn anything. For example, if I had a video that was all about, hey, how are you? My name is Kyle. Did you have a good day? It'll be too easy for you. You already know it. You already know how to express yourself. At the same time, if you suddenly went to material which was for native speakers, you wouldn't understand anything because there's too much advanced vocabulary. So you have to find the sweet spot, and simple English is the sweet spot. This video is to help you keep on, bit by bit, keep improving your English without feeling too frustrated in the process. Of course, don't forget to turn on the subtitles so that you can understand more of what I'm saying during this video. And should we get started? I guess so. Just so you know, my name is Profi Kyle, if you don't already know. And it's afternoon here, so good afternoon to you wherever you are joining me from in the world. Is that how we would say it in English? I think so. See, even native speakers sometimes don't know how to speak our own language. So this is the second time I got robbed in Colombia. Luckily, this time it wasn't as violent for me, but more violent for the robber. All right? So, I believe this is 2015 again. I think 2015... Yeah, I think 2015. Again, I can't remember, 2015 or 2016. But February. I know it's February because I was at the Barranquilla Carnival in Colombia. And the carnival in Barranquilla is always in February. So I know it's February, 2015 or 2016. And at that time, I wasn't living in Barranquilla. I was living in Cartagena. But a friend of mine, who is an actress, she invited me to go to Barranquilla. Now, she was originally from the capital city of Colombia, which is Bogota, but her father was originally from Barranquilla. And her and her family, they like to go to Barranquilla during Carnival to visit family and enjoy the festivities. And I was... let's just say my relationship with this girl was a little bit complicated. But still, she was a friend of mine, very friendly, and I always enjoyed spending time with her. So if she's watching this video, nice to see you. And so she invited me, and I went to Barranquilla to enjoy Carnival. Now, I was still young then. I knew I was an introvert, but I was still trying to force myself to be more extroverted. So I was kind of hoping to have a great time during Carnival. Now, I've soon realized that carnivals, wherever they are in the world, whether it's Brazil or Colombia, it's not really my cup of tea. I'm just too introverted. There's too many people. I feel overwhelmed by everything. So nowadays, I try to avoid those types of festivals and carnivals because I'm not a big fan of them unless I'm with a group of friends that's gonna protect me from all the other people, which overwhelms my mind. So I'm at Carnival. I'm not having a fantastic time because there's so many people. At the same time, it is very interesting. I do like watching people. And at the carnival, there were a lot of people to watch. So anyways, this was the second night I was in Barranquilla. I think I stayed, I can't remember. I think it was like 2 or 3 nights, something like that. So this was the second night, the height of the festivities in the city. And my friend, her family, and her friends and cousins, they were taking me around. Well, not taking just me around, because I wasn't the only guest. I believe there was another foreigner, and of course there were other people from Bogota that were experiencing Carnival for the first time in the group. So they're really giving a tour of the entire Carnival to a whole bunch of us. So during Carnival, like in Brazil, for example, there's a whole bunch of different areas with different parties. So yeah, we went from one area, then we went to another area. People really enjoying themselves. At that time, I wasn't much of a drinker. I didn't really drink that much alcohol. I do believe I drank some beers, but I wasn't drunk. Because, during a carnival, everybody's getting drunk usually, but I didn't really want to get drunk. So I was pretty sober. I think I had drunk a few beers, but I wasn't wasted. I wasn't shit-faced. I wasn't drunk. I was sober. But of course, the rest of the people in my group, not everybody, but a lot of the people in my group, especially the men, were really, really drunk. So at the time of the robbery, we were walking from one area of the city to another area of the city. And one thing y'all know about Carnival is that, at least in Colombia, they have these canisters of foam. And people to celebrate, they'll spray each other in the face with the canisters of foam, which I think if you're young is a lot of fun. Even if you're old, it can be a little bit of fun. I think they also threw flour at each other, and, just making each other dirty, throwing water at each other. It's just complete anarchy and chaos, but that's the point of the carnival, along with the music and the dancing and the being together with friends and family. So anyways, we're walking from one party area to another party area, and during the parties, in between the parties, people are getting water thrown at them, they're getting foam in the face, they're getting flour thrown at each other. I'm not too sure about the flour, but I think there was flour. And we're making our way to this other party area. Now, there was a guy in the group. He was the boyfriend of my friend's sister, and he was really drunk. He was shit-faced. And for whatever reason, he liked me. Once you get to know me, I'm a pretty nice guy, and I have a good sense of humor. So normally when people get to know me, as long as they're not dickheads, as long as they're relaxed, chill people, we get along. And yeah, he seemed to really take a liking to me. He seemed to really like me, and he let me know. So he was drunk, and we're almost to the area of the next party. We're almost in the next party area. We're walking up a slightly inclined road which will lead us to the party area. And he puts his arm around me, drunk, sweaty. It's Barranquilla, it's the coast, the Caribbean coast, so very humid. So he's sweaty, he's drunk, and he starts telling me how much he loves me, how much he likes me, that I'm a fantastic guy, he's the best Canadian that he's ever met, he wishes that more foreigners were like me, stuff like this. Of course, I don't know if he said all those things, but you get the point. He's really flattering me with the compliments, which I didn't mind. At the same time, he was drunk, and I've been with drunk friends in the past, and they say a whole bunch of nice things when they're drunk, but then when they're sober, they don't tell me any of those things. So it's sometimes hard to believe if they're telling the truth or not. Like I said, I was sober. I wasn't drunk, so I was just kind of nodding my head like, oh, yeah. But again, he was really drunk, so he had his arm over me, but I was literally helping him walk because without any support, he was gonna zigzag while he walked, or he was gonna fall over. So he's flattering me. I'm trying to hold him up. My attention is not focused on my surroundings, which in Colombia, first lesson is you should always be focused on your surroundings because you never know when something bad is going to happen, especially during Carnival. So some Colombians will say what happened to me was my fault because I was distracted. At the same time, wasn't my fault. My friend, he's drunk. He's got his arms over me. He's going to fall down if I don't try to help him. So yeah, sometimes Colombians will say anybody who gets robbed, it's their fault they got robbed. But in this case, I don't really know how it's my fault. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, being distracted. So while I'm distracted with my friend, all of a sudden, I get some foam in the face. I get foam in the face. I get foam in the face, and my friend gets foamed in the face. And I think a few other people behind me get foamed in the face. So I get foamed in the face. And in my head, I'm just thinking, it's Carnival. People are celebrating. They're spraying anybody with foam in the face. It's just part of the festivities. That's all I'm thinking. But as I go to wipe the foam out of my eyes, one of the people in the group, I believe, or somebody else, taps me on the shoulder and says, "Hey, they just stole your cell phone." Now remember, if you watch my other simple English video about the first time I got robbed, I bought a new cell phone, a few months before. A cheap cell phone because it's Colombia and I didn't want to keep on buying expensive cell phones and have them get robbed every few weeks, every few months. That would be very expensive. So I check my pocket. I had on, they weren't super tight jeans, but at the same time they weren't baggy jeans. And they also had the horizontal pocket. They didn't have the diagonal pocket. Diagonal. Like right now, I'm wearing some pants. I can show you quick. These pants have a diagonal pocket. So if you're a foreigner or anybody who wants to stay safe in Latin America, diagonal pockets are not a good idea because they're very easy to just stick the hand in and take things out. But at this time, I had on Levi's jeans, brown Levi's jeans. I remember these jeans. I love these jeans. I wish I could find another pair just like them because I really like them. But they had the horizontal pocket. So those are usually more difficult to put your hand into. So when I checked my pockets, I was surprised. My cell phone was gone. And till this day, it was impressive, the operation that these robbers were running, because first they sprayed me in the face with foam, and then the same guy or a different guy was able to put his hands in my pockets so quickly and not too roughly that he was able to take out my cell phone and take off. It's crazy. It's crazy how I didn't even notice. I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known if the other person in the group hadn't told me that somebody had just robbed me. So I find out about this, but it wasn't only me that was robbed. These guys had sprayed a whole bunch of people with foam at the same time, and they had robbed, I think, maybe 3 other cell phones at the exact same time. So of course, everybody realized at the same time that they'd just been pickpocketed. And one of the people had seen who had done it, and they pointed at the guy. So I see the guy, I grab the guy, and I'm asking him, "Look, I don't want any problems. I just want my cell phone back." Now this guy, he's saying, "Oh, I know what you're talking about. I didn't steal your cell phone. But of course, the people who saw me get pickpocketed, they're saying, "No, that guy took your cell phone. I know he took your cell phone." So I just keep on asking him patiently. I'm not drunk. Again, I'm not drunk. I'm a little bit angry at the same time. I just want my cell phone. I don't want any problems. So I'm just telling the guy, look, just give me my cell phone. That's all I want. I'll let you go. Just give me my cell phone and there won't be any problems. That's what I'm telling him. I'm trying to be the good cop. Not trying to be nice, but at the same time, I'm not trying to be violent or threaten him in any way. I'm telling him, just give me my cell phone and there won't be any problems. But about 5 seconds into my interrogation, all of a sudden, from behind me, I see a fist go past my peripheral vision. So all of a sudden there's a fist right here. And I'm like, what? Like everything felt like in slow motion in that moment. There's a fist. And I'm like, what? And all of a sudden, I see another guy in our group. I think a young guy from Bogota, his first carnival. He was shit-faced as well. He was very drunk. And, well, if you don't know much about Latinos, when Latinos catch a robber, they will beat the shit out of that robber, which I don't disagree with. When you have police that are as incompetent as the ones in Latin America, I really have no problems if people want to beat the shit out of robbers. And this guy, his Colombian instincts, they kicked in, and he went into beat the shit out of the robber mode, which I didn't appreciate. So a fist comes, hits the guy right square in the face. He falls on the ground. I turn around. What's going on? And then all of a sudden there's anarchy. The guy that I had in my hands, all of a sudden he's gone. I'm thinking, where did he go? And I'm looking at the guy who's drunk, who just punched him, and I'm thinking, all right, you punched him, but you didn't grab him to keep him here. Like that's not how it works. You're supposed to, if you're gonna punch him, then you better keep on punching him so that like we at least have him. But you just punched him once and then he took off. Like that was not a good idea. So yeah, at that moment, I was incredibly disappointed, just with everything. I was not happy in that moment. Again, for many reasons. First reason, I'm an introvert, and I'm in a very extroverted street party, which I realized during that trip really wasn't for me. Really wasn't something I want to participate again in the future. Not because the people did anything wrong, it's not for me. So I was mad at myself that I convinced myself that this was going to be awesome, and I soon realized this isn't really what I want to do. I've just been robbed. The reason I've just been robbed is because a drunk friend in the group distracted me, and I wasn't able to properly react to things happening around me. And then I grabbed the guy who had stolen my cell phone, or had at least been a part of the group, which was pickpocketing cell phones. I have him in my hands. I'm talking to him, trying to get back my cell phone, and then another drunk Colombian punches him, lets him get away. And it's all these things at the same time. I'm just shaking my head like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this is just craziness. I was just kind of mad at everybody, mad at myself, mad at the country, mad at the culture. I was mad. And of course, it's just a cell phone, and yeah, it's just a material thing. At the same time, yeah, I felt like you guys are supposed to be my acquaintances, supposed to be my friends, and you've just let me get robbed. I don't really feel safe in this group. I don't really feel like you guys are prepared for this. Yeah, I was not happy with anybody at that moment. In that moment, all I wanted to do was just go to my hotel room and sleep, because I was just not in the mood after getting robbed for the second time in Colombia. But it's Carnival, of course, and there might be taxis, but it's Carnival. It's really hard to find somebody to take you home. And not only that, it's carnival. I just been robbed. There's tons of robbers on the streets. If I start walking around by myself trying to find a taxi, I'm gonna get robbed or robbed a second time or maybe killed. So basically, everybody else, of course, they're not happy that I've been robbed, or I think maybe one or two other people in the group, they were also robbed. Of course, they're not happy. At the same time, they have the, I guess, very Latino mentality. Robberies happen. Let's keep on living, which I'm a bit envious about. I wish I could overcome bad situations as fast as many Latinos do. So I was stuck. I was stuck with that group. They all wanted to keep on celebrating Carnival, and I did not. But I had no other choice. So yeah, I think everybody else was partying for another 1 or 2 hours. Colombians can be very extroverted, so my friend who invited me, she was very worried about me because I think I walked away from the group and just went not far away. I wasn't by myself, but I went basically to the outskirts of the party area just to sit down and just kind of be by myself. And I think eventually, after about half an hour, I returned to the group, and of course, she, along with her friends and family, were all worried about me. Oh, where did you go? What's wrong? And in my head, I'm just thinking, everything's wrong, but nothing's wrong. Keep on celebrating. Just, I'm not very happy right now. But of course, many times in Latin America, this feeling that I have, Latinos don't really like it that much. So it's sometimes hard to express this because they just kind of think I'm weird. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, maybe I'm a little bit weird, but still, just understand that there are some people in this world who don't think the exact same way that you do. So, that's the second time I was robbed in Colombia. Like I said, February 2015 or 2016, I believe 2016. February 2016, Barranquilla. This time I wasn't threatened with a knife. This time it was just a simple pickpocketing. Lesson I learned from this was that if there is any foam in Colombia, be very careful because robbers will use foam to pickpocket you, to try to rob you. And the other thing I learned is always be aware of your surroundings in Colombia. I kind of already knew that, but after this event, I really understood. If you're in a public place with people that you don't really know, you want to try to keep your head on a swivel. Actually, there's a recent story from about a month ago here in Cali, Colombia. There was an electronic music concert of a famous DJ. And the news story was 32 people had been pickpocketed. So yeah, in Colombia, if you're going to be in any sort of public event, you have to have your head on a swivel. That's not just Colombia, that's also in other parts of Latin America. In Canada, it might happen, but again, I've never heard about people being pickpocketed in Canada. Maybe it's happening nowadays, but when I was growing up, it never really happened. And that's it for now. If you have any comments, leave them down below. And of course, if you have any getting robbed stories, let me know down below. I have 2 more stories about me getting robbed, but they're not as eventful, not as interesting, and nothing bad really happened. So I'm just going to put both those stories into one video. That will be in a subsequent video in this series of my Getting Robbed in Colombia series. So that's it for now. Hopefully you felt very confident in your English, you were able to understand everything, and you also learned some new vocabulary. That's the point of these videos. Again, any questions about vocabulary, just leave your questions down below and I'll try to help you out. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, my dear, dear student.